Volodymyr Zelensky was unintentionally introduced by Joe Biden as President Putin before Kamala Harris and Donald Trump were confused. Just hours apart, the 81-year-old U.S. president made two more embarrassing mistakes as he hosted the NATO meeting in the face of mounting pressure to withdraw from the re-election race. As the Democratic nominee prepares to confront Republican competitor Trump in the polls in November, genuine concerns about his mental health have been raised in recent weeks. He remarked, "Now I want to hand over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination," while speaking at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. President Putin, ladies and gentlemen, as he welcomed Zelensky onto the stage, the guy who has spent more than 2 years trying to stop Putin from destroying his nation. Biden promptly corrected himself. "I'm going to defeat President Zelensky and President Putin. I am totally committed to defeating Putin," Biden continued. Later that evening, during a different press appearance, Biden mistook Vice President Harris for his political opponent, Donald Trump. When asked what worries him about his second-in-command's potential to defeat former President Trump in a presidential contest, he responded in a perplexing way. He murmured, "Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president. Do I think she's not qualified to be president? So let's start there." During the evening, Sir Keir Starmer, the newly appointed Prime Minister of Great Britain, complimented Biden, saying he should be given credit for the NATO meeting. After Biden made a mistake with Putin, the Labour leader told reporters, "I would urge everyone to look at the substance of what's been achieved over these 2 days in response to inquiries about Biden's mental state. We have more nations in NATO, it is larger, it is more powerful, and we truly feel committed." The meeting with President Zelensky regarding Ukraine took place at the third council session. He characterized the session as successful due to the outcome package, and President Biden guided all of that. "That is a truly amazing accomplishment for this council. Given the threats facing the world today, that is the best result we could have achieved, so I believe he and the team he worked with should be commended for it. We adjourned this council with a renewed sense of confidence and determination to confront Russian aggression. We all expected to arrive to that conclusion, and President Biden guided us there." As he prepares to challenge longtime rival Donald Trump for a second term, Sir Keir has already responded sharply to accusations that the president is senile. Amidst this week's NATO conference, he defended his American counterpart following an hour-long bilateral conversation at the White House. The PM shot it down when the BBC questioned if Biden was senile, as more and more people seem to be suggesting that he is. "No, we had a really good bilateral yesterday. We were billed for 45 minutes, but we ended up talking for almost an hour and covering a ton of topics quickly," he stated. He was actually on really good form. The blunder by Putin occurred just before the much-awaited press conference, at which Biden hoped to persuade other Democrats that he could continue in the demanding role for an additional term. 13 of the 213 Democrats in the House and one of the 51 Democrats in the Senate have publicly urged the president to drop out of the contest thus far. In his one-man press conference, Biden addressed a variety of subjects, including whether or not he was qualified to serve another 4 years in the White House. For the past 2 weeks, Biden's campaign has been in disarray following his dismal debate performance against Trump, 78. Meeting with Senate Democrats on Thursday, presidential advisors attempted to energize Biden's campaign by claiming that the race has not changed significantly as a result of the debate. They stated that by focusing on Trump, a convicted felon who is facing 2 more criminal trials for attempting to reverse his 2020 election loss, they would hope to win over undecided voters. Brad Schneider of Illinois, Greg Stanton of Arizona, Ed Case of Hawaii, and Hillary Scholten of Michigan were among the 4 other Democrats in the House of Representatives who urged him to terminate his campaign on Thursday. "It is time for the president to hand the reins to a new generation of leaders for the good of our nation," Stanton declared in a statement. While some questioned Biden's suitability to serve as president, they refrained from demanding that he resign. "I doubt the president's judgment about his health, his fitness to do the job, and whether he is the one making important decisions about our country, rather than unelected advisors," said Representative Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez. Congressman Eric Sorensen, a Democrat, also demanded that Biden resign in response to his most recent mistakes. He declared, "Joe Biden ran for president in 2020 with the intention of prioritizing nation over party. I'm asking him to do that again today. More than ever, it is critical that the presidential candidate representing our neighbors convey a constructive vision for each and every citizen of this nation. Someone who can demonstrate the strength and wisdom needed to lead us through the worst storms." He stated that he is hopeful President Biden will step aside in his campaign for president. On Wednesday, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi refrained from endorsing him to continue in the contest. To bolster support, Biden campaign chair Jen Amali Dillon met with Senate Democrats along as other senior aides. Afterward, others expressed doubts about his chances of winning. According to a person with knowledge of the situation, the campaign has commissioned a survey to see how Harris would perform if she were to challenge Biden at the top of the ticket. Harris would perform no better than Biden as the Democratic nominee, according to a Reuters/Ipsos survey that was released last week. Both candidates were statistically tied with Trump. While some campaign staffers believed he had no chance of winning the election, the New York Times claimed that several senior advisors were thinking of methods to persuade him to withdraw his re-election bid. In a new declaration on Monday, Biden reaffirmed his intention to run. "In the end, the point is that we're not leaving. I'm not leaving," he declared in an interview with MSNBC, an NBC affiliate. Biden will now embark on a cross-country trip to participate in campaign-related events. He will begin in Detroit today and end in Delaware.